My ex-wife and I have a daughter, nearly adult, with ADHD. I want to get her medicated, but my ex is against it and says she doesn't need it, and has convinced my daughter that she doesn't need it either. I've been with my current wife for 6 years, and we just had a baby together a few weeks ago. For the first week, my wife was okay. She was diagnosed with PPD a couple of weeks back. Now, my daughter comes and goes as she pleases. She has a car and kind of bounces from house to house. But for the past week, she's been at our place because she was suspended from school. I think it's related to the ADHD because the reason was her being overly disruptive and disrespectful to the teachers repeatedly since school started, but again, ex-wife doesn't think so. Since she's been here, my wife has been complaining daily about my daughter's loud mouth because every single time she gets the baby down, my daughter comes out and starts being loud and wakes the baby up almost immediately. But my wife thinks it's intentional because she apparently will be quiet the entire time that my wife is getting the baby down. But the second she walks away, my daughter comes out of her room loudly belting out song lyrics, opera style, or slamming doors and cabinets. She's always done this, so I know that's not intentional. Or walking with force. She has really heavy feet, so it sounds like slams when she walks. My wife says that she is so sick and tired of repeating to my kid that she needs to be quiet and let the baby sleep. And ultimately, due to this, my wife has become hateful towards both me and my daughter. She barely even speaks to us because she claims we don't respect her and are purposely making her look crazy. But yesterday, I got home to my daughter in her car crying, and when I asked what happened, she said my wife told her to get out since she doesn't know how to keep her mouth shut. When I got inside, my wife was rage cleaning with the baby strapped to her chest. I asked her why she felt she had the right to speak to my daughter that way, and she snapped back with, "Maybe I'd like to use the bathroom without a baby strapped to me. Maybe I'd like to clean or eat or even be able to take a nap myself. But nope. Your family kid decides that the baby needs to be awake 24/7. She's not welcome back in here. She needs to go home." This is my wife's house. I told her that she was on the fast track to divorce, and now she's angry that I won't defend her. Am I the idiot for flipping out after my wife screamed at my daughter for being loud? Edit. I have spoken to my daughter about all of this. It's always met with "I really don't even realize I'm doing it," and she apologizes profusely. She isn't doing it intentionally. You have a baby, and you just threatened your wife with divorce because she's exhausted? You are the idiot. So much. You are a parent. It is your and her mother's responsibility to teach your daughter empathy, respect for others, that other people matter too, and how to manage her own behavior. I see no mention that you remotely address this. It's worse. The excuse of, "I really don't even realize I'm doing it," and she always apologizes profusely. She really isn't doing it intentionally, simply doesn't cut it. That's an excuse only a lousy or lazy parent will take in order not to make your kids accountable for their actions. Your daughter has a problem, and you're making it worse by enabling her. Yeah, geez. If his wife wants to go to the bathroom without a baby strapped to her chest or take a nap, he could probably help with that. I like how he implies his wife is only being hateful to him because of his daughter. Nah, he's earning that on his own. Makes me wonder why the ex divorced him, LOL. Can we add that for his daughter to be suspended from school shows that disruptive and disrespectful is a pattern, so why would he not believe his wife and the school on that? She's about to be 18, and no employer or teacher will continually give her grace for slip-ups. She'll be terminated when she forgets to do what she was told. She'll be dropped from college when she forgets to turn in assignments and can't catch up. She'll be evicted from her apartment because she forgot to pay her rent, and she just can't help it because she has ADHD that they refuse to treat. OP, you need to have your wife's back and step up as a parent for darn's sake. My boyfriend, Paul, made the decision last year to recover from an eating disorder. He used to be extremely lean and shredded. While still fit and athletic, he's gained 25 pounds over the past year. He puts on a confident facade most of the time, but he has told me that he feels bad about his body and weight. He used to get a lot of compliments on his physique and doesn't get as much anymore. I personally think he looks better now. I'm trying my best to make him feel better about himself, and he's also attending therapy every 2 weeks. Yesterday, we went to the beach with friends that we hadn't seen in a couple of years. Paul isn't super comfortable showing his stomach in public, but I told him he didn't have to. and assured him that nobody's judging him the way he judges himself. Most of us just see a tall, handsome, fit guy. When we got to the beach, Paul started to feel more comfortable and eventually took his shirt off to play volleyball. I was so proud of him. Some friends bought a cooler of snacks, and as Paul reached for a cookie, eating in front of people is also a win for him. Our friend Julia said, "Careful, don't want to get too thick." Another friend told her to cut it out, but it definitely killed the mood. Paul put the cookie back, and a couple of minutes later, he said he was cold. It was like 95 degrees, and put his sweatshirt back on. Things were fine for the next 30 minutes, but then Julia pointed out a very ripped man walking past us and remarked loudly, "That used to be you, Paul." Paul managed a small laugh, but he looked very visibly uncomfortable. Cut it out clearly wasn't enough. What's ironic is that Julia herself is legitimately overweight and has been since we've known her. She doesn't even work out and eat healthy like Paul and doesn't care to, which is fine, but don't go shaming someone else for not being bone shredded. Before I could think too much about it, I said, "Maybe you should do a few laps at the gym yourself before you criticize someone who looks 10 times better than you." After that, some people were like, "Ooh, sick burn," but others were like, "That was way too much." The gathering pretty much ended at that point, and while we drove home, Paul said I had gone too far. He said I didn't need to stoop to Julia's level and insult her body, and I implied that it would be okay for Julia to insult him if she was thinner. He also said it was clear that Julia had body issues and was projecting onto him. I didn't pick up on that vibe at all, so I don't know. I agree with him that my delivery could have been better. However, I still feel like Julia would have continued insulting Paul all afternoon if I hadn't said anything. I was really excited that Paul had reached certain recovery milestones, going shirtless in public and eating unhealthy foods in front of people, and seeing how mean comments could change his behavior so quickly made me really worried. Was I justified in saying what I said, or was I an idiot? Not the idiot. Julia is a friend to nobody, and no need to defend yourself. Just remember that your friends didn't call her out either time, but they called you out. Think about that. You did well putting her in her place, though. I doubt she learned anything. Do you really want to hang out with people like these? Sister, in my book, you're a superhero. There's nothing better to a guy, even if Paul doesn't vocalize this, than his SO having his back like that. He felt bad for the girl because he was self-conscious himself, and he didn't want her to feel that way. But 100%, he felt good knowing that you were there to defend him and that he loved you for it. If she didn't want to hear those words come out of your mouth, she should have kept hers shut. I can't say I agree. Even though she was defending him, OP unintentionally confirmed that being overweight is something to be insulted, and unintentionally implied that if Julia were thinner, her comment would have been fine. She should have been called out for being a disgusting person, not for being larger or more out of shape than Paul. Her weight is not what makes her disgusting. It's her comments. But by using her weight as the insult, OP has unintentionally doubled down on the idea that weight is the ultimate problem here. Considering OP's boyfriend is recovering from an eating disorder, her comment was basically a double-edged sword. OP, you are the idiot. OP, you are the idiot. I, 24 female, currently live with my parents. I'm doing this to save money and they haven't charged me rent until now. I've been basically paying rent by doing chores, mainly cleaning the house, grocery shopping, managing their bills, cooking their meals, and taking care of my female kindergarten-age cousin. Due to some circumstances, my parents are currently her guardians when I'm off work. This hasn't left me with that much free time. However, it's been in fact helping me save money, so I've been more than happy with this arrangement. Recently, however, my parents have asked me to start paying rent. I asked them if everything was okay and if they were struggling, but they said that that's not the case, and they just felt like I should contribute more, since they're letting me stay with them for free after finishing college. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit bummed, but the rent they wanted for me was still a way better deal than anything else I could find somewhere else, so I accepted. A few hours ago, however, my mom confronted me about how I've been slacking off on my chores after I told her I couldn't take care of my cousin since I had plans with some friends. She said that they tried to be understanding, but this couldn't continue, and I asked her what she meant. Since the deal was that my doing chores was going to be how I pay rent, now that I'm actually paying rent, I'll stop doing them, and I thought that was obvious. She got mad and called me ungrateful and spoiled. I told her she couldn't expect me to pay rent and do all these chores. That left me no free time, and that I'd be better off if I just found my own place, even if it would cost me more at this point. She got angry once more because I'd rather give money to some stranger than your own family. And then she said she couldn't believe how big of an idiot I was, and to just wait until my dad heard about it. He's going to be back in a few hours, and honestly, I've been thinking about our fight, if you can even call it that, and I'm wondering if I'm really entitled to how I feel. Not the idiot. They want you to pay them on top of you doing all their housework? When do you have a job? When you said chores, I was expecting you to say doing the dishes, or taking out the trash, or cleaning the kitchen sometimes. But you're their cook, their maid, their personal shopper, their childcare, their accountant. Do they pay you for any of that? Your parents are guilt-tripping you. You're not an idiot. You're a human being with limits. If I were you, I would save as much money as possible and move out ASAP. Exactly. This is so far beyond chores that OP was already being taken advantage of when she lived there at no cost. Now she's supposed to pay for the privilege of being completely taken advantage of? Time to get the heck out of there. A second job to cover the difference in rent will still be a far better option than what they're offering her. They probably do need the money, or Mom wouldn't have been so salty about OP paying strangers instead of the family. OP, if they would rent your room to someone unrelated, they wouldn't ask them to do house chores or babysit for free. But because you're family and you owe them, they have no problem milking you. The update. My dad came home last night, a few hours after I made that post, and he told me Mom informed him about our fight, but he's tired and we'll talk about it in the morning. I was quite anxious and could barely sleep. Well, the morning came and we had the talk. My dad told me that he's discussed things with Mom, and he does kind of understand why I'd be unhappy with our new arrangement, but that he still considers they're giving me an amazing deal. I asked, as some suggested in the comments, if they were struggling financially, which he denied. Then I asked if they wanted me to move out, and didn't know how to tell me. Once again, he denied that, and both of them got slightly offended that I'd even suggest that. So yeah, they haven't given me an exact reason for their change of heart. They just think it's still a fair deal, even with the added rent. I told them that I get it's their house and they can do what they want, but personally, I don't find it fair, so I'll be trying to move out as soon as possible. They didn't quite like that either. My mom brought up once more the fact that I'd rather make a stranger rich than contribute to our household, which kind of made me mad, because I think I've done my fair share of contributing to the household so far. She started tearing up a bit and went on a rant about how she couldn't believe her only child would do this to her, and to at least think of my cousin, about how my cousin loves me and how abandoning her would destroy her. My father then told me he thinks I'm irrational and that he'll allow me to calm down and rethink my decision when I'm less agitated. I was the calmest out of the three of us, LOL, because I'll see that they're right once I've thought things through. So yeah, that's the update. I've already started searching for a place, and I think I'll just let them think I've accepted their new terms until I can find some place. So wish me luck. My late wife was a very small person. When we got married, she was only 115 pounds, so her wedding dress size reflects that. She passed away 2 years ago, so she'll not attend our daughter's wedding, which will be in 2025. Now, my daughter wants to wear the dress, and I told her it wouldn't be a good idea since she won't be able to squeeze into it. She told me she could just up the size of it, and I told her I would think about it. I looked into it, and they basically cut the dress up to size it up. I informed her that she couldn't wear the dress since they'd be cutting it up. This resulted in a huge argument about me gatekeeping my wife's things. I told her no again, and that she could wear some of her jewelry. She hung up. She clearly thinks I'm a jerk, and my sons are now on me to give up the dress. Am I the idiot? Edit. My wife always wanted to go dress shopping with our daughters. She loved her wedding dress, and I don't think she would be okay with it being cut up. I don't know my daughter's exact weight, but she's overweight. You are the idiot, OP. Your wife can't go shopping with your daughter. Indeed, legally, the dress is yours. What are you going to do with it? I mean, logically, it isn't being used. And I sound harsh, but under the circumstances, wouldn't you rather see it used in making someone happy than sitting in a chest somewhere? I'm sure the dress is meaningful for you too, but you're not going to wear it. No one is going to wear it. Let your daughter, your wife's daughter, have the only piece of her mother she can get on what's supposed to be the happiest day of her life. You already got to have that moment with your wife on your wedding day. Let your daughter have hers. A year ago, I probably would have said, you were an idiot. Your wife doesn't need the dress and won't be able to go shopping, so why not? But in the last year, I lost my mom after taking care of her in my home for 9 years. Yes, I know it's different to lose a spouse. My daughter lost her husband. My point is that I now realize that people grieve differently, and we cannot dictate to someone else what they should or shouldn't do. You're not ready to give up your late wife's dress to be cut up and remade. It's that simple. You're not ready. End of discussion. Not the idiot. I was supposed to have a date with this girl, Sarah, yesterday. She's in her late 20s while I'm in my early 30s, and she's a friend of someone I know. The gist is that we'd meet at a restaurant 2 hours away from where I live. When I went there, I texted her, but she just left it on read when she saw it and didn't respond. I waited an hour until she apologized, saying she was tired after work and had to cancel it. She offered to make it up to me by having it the next day. I was really frustrated and insulted. I just texted her, "Thanks, but I don't think it's going to work out." She responded by saying that I was being inconsiderate, etc., but I just ignored everything she said after that. Sarah then informed our mutual friend, who called me to say I should have been more patient, etc., and that I was acting entitled. I just told him, I understand she's tired, but I'm not interested in people who waste others' time. But yeah, both are calling me entitled, etc. So am I an entitled idiot? I'm sorry, you drove 2 hours to meet a date at a restaurant, and an hour after you got there, she finally bothered to respond? So she left you to sit at this restaurant for an hour before letting you know she wouldn't show up. Was this some test? Well, I guess you should be grateful she finally let you know at all. So thoughtful. So considerate of your time to only waste 5 hours of it that evening. Then she said she was too tired to meet up and asked you how you could reschedule for tomorrow. Oh, heck no. Block her and your mutual friend who said you were acting entitled and should be more supportive. You know who she likes better, and it isn't you. Not the idiot. Clearly she forgot all about the date or changed her mind. It took her an hour after reading your text to realize she wouldn't make it. What was she doing for that hour? Best case, she rushed around trying to prepare and then decided she wasn't up for it. Worst case, she spent the hour texting friends trying to decide what excuse to give you and whether to offer to make it up. I don't understand them asking you to be more patient. You'd already wasted 3 hours with a 2-hour drive home, and they think you should jump at the chance to drive 4 hours the next day and hope she will show up? Let me guess, the meeting place was very close to her home. But yes, you are entitled. You are entitled to be treated with common courtesy.